Okay, so we are officially recorded for our debt management class in itself. So thank you guys for joining in. And right before we go into our session here, I have a video that I want to share with you. I saw it this morning. It was very moving, and I thought it'd be very good before we get into our topic for today. So I want to share that with you. And so it's just a few minutes here, and then we will get right into it here. All right.
Person that feels like they lost their worth and their value. This is a dollar bill. Now, if I go to the store and there's something for 90 cents, can I buy it with this dollar bill? Okay, all right. So if I go to the store and there's something for 85 cents and after tax, it ends up being 96 cents, can I buy it with this dollar bill? Okay, all right. So what if I ball the dollar bill up? Think about it now. Like, I just balled the dollar bill up, like, so it can't be worth $1 now. It's probably worth like 95 cents, right? How much you think it's worth? $1. Listen, y'all gotta pay attention. I just balled it up, so clearly it's not worth $1 anymore. All right. So maybe, what if I step on it? What if I stomp it? I just stomped it. How much is it worth now? Maybe 65 cents, 68 cents? It's still worth $1? Okay, what if I ball it up? What if I stomp on it and then I put it in the trash can? And it's in here with some trash, and it's around some beer and some gum and a bunch of other nasty stuff. And some guy off the street pulls the dollar out, unfolds it. How much is it worth now? Maybe 82 cents? And come on, at least 92 cents? It's okay, all right, so what if I ball it up? What if I step on it? What if I put it in trash? And then, watch this. I tear it in half. Think about it now, right? How much is it worth now? $1? I could tape it? Whoa. Wait. Wait a second. I just balled it up. I just stepped on it. I put it in trash. I pulled it out. Then I tore it in half, and you mean to tell me I can pick the dollar up, I can wipe it off, and I can put some tape around it, and it's still worth $1? Then why, if this dollar doesn't lose its worth or its value, then why do you feel like you've lost your worth of value? Because many of you feel like you've been stepped on, you feel like you've been pushed aside, you feel like you've been abandoned, you feel like you've been talked about, you feel like you've been abused, like someone took from you, someone hurt you, somebody took advantage of you, and deep down inside your core, you feel like you've lost some of your value. And I am here to tell you today that this dollar still has worth and value. Because there are some men years ago who put value over this life. It said no matter what happens to it, it can still be taped back together. It can still be wiped off. And I am here to tell you that you were created and you're born and you're here and you have life and you have purpose and you have value. And though you've gone through some hard times and though you've experienced some depression and you might be wanting to hurt yourself and you might want to give up, I am here to tell you still got worth and value. And there is nothing that can happen that can take your worth and your value away. So what you gotta do now, you gotta pick yourself up. You gotta dust yourself off and you gotta keep moving.
Okay, guys, I wanted to share that video. I saw it this morning and it was very moving because, hey, man, and the topic of what we're discussing today is debt, right? Debt gets us down. Debt gets us depressed. We can't do some of the things that we want to do. And so we got to understand our value. Even if we do get ourselves in debt, we could pick ourselves back up and we could truly get out of debt in itself. So before we get into our system today, I do want to have an open conversation. So I'm going to ask if you can open up your mics and we're just going to really just start focusing on what causes us to get actually in debt. And then how can we actually change? Because this is a mental thing. I mean, we can show you the system, but this is something that's based on how you was raised, based on what you saw. I mean, based off just a decision. You could be at a store and you might not even, you on a debt management plan, you see something, you don't have the money, but you're gonna buy it anyways. So I kind of want to open up the mic and let's just talk about this here, right? From a spiritual aspect, we know that the borrower is a slave to the lender. Proverbs is a very wisdom biblical chapter in the Bible. And so this is very true. I mean, as long as we continue to owe, we're going to be the slave. But here's what I want to focus on. And I just want to open this up here just for a few minutes before we get into our undebt system. But literally it says here, right? You can get into debt. It takes 20 minutes, but it actually takes 20 years to get out of debt. So I want to paint this picture here, right? So it's a Saturday. You guys get off this particular webinar today and you go to the mall and you do some shopping. And the first thing that you realize is you go into a Macy's store and that Macy's said, hey, look, you could get 25% off on your next buy if you sign up for this Macy's credit card. That's like a light bulb off. We don't have a lot of money. We want to use this credit card, and that 25%, it sounds very appealing. So we sign up for that 25% credit card literally less than 20 minutes. But oftentimes what happens is we sign up for that particular credit card and then we don't pay it off at the end of the month, or we make minimum payment and now we have interest that's accruing. And then we continue to use that card because other events come up, or you just want to go out for the weekend, maybe buy some work clothes or cologne or anything at Macy's. Now you got this credit card that's available to you. And it's an everyday situation, what we currently live at and today. That's how emotional decisions that we make. So I want to open it up here and I want to have just some quick dialogue really quick. And maybe, just have a couple people just kind of share some of the things as far as how they're able to manage it from a mental aspect when they're out shopping, when they see these type of deals, or anything when it comes to debt management. If there's been a success story, we just kind of want to hear it really quick. And then we're going to get into our segment for the day. Anybody want to open up and kind of share their thoughts and perspectives when it comes to their the debt management? Go ahead, Carson.
So, not really debt management. You can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Good morning. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Not really debt management, because we always try to work not to be in debt. Like, it's more so as like structure. It's like, even though, like you said, it's more of an emotional thing. I'm like, do I need it? Like, do I have the money in my bank account to say, if I lost my job now, could I pay it off of what I just purchased? And that's how I factor it in. I mean, like, if I don't have the money to do it, I don't buy it, honestly, because like most of these things we grew up without. So I don't really say I need this. If it's not food or an actual necessity, to me it's just hearsay. It's like, if I want it. If it's an if, I can wait. That's how I look at it.
Hey, Carson, that's a very great perspective, man. I mean, because you think about if you're not currently in debt, but think about the future. What if you get into different spots, right? So Tiffany, I see your hand that's up. Let's go ahead and hear.
Hey, good morning, Sherwin.
Good morning. Good morning.
So yeah, I struggle with debt management. My husband, thank God I found him, and he's very much the voice of reason for me and our family, because he struggled in a way that I never had to. So it really made him the person that he is now, and he's very good about saving money and planning for the future. And with me, I never really was raised to think like that. My mom is struggling with debt now in her 50s and almost 60 now. Like, and I realize I don't want to be that way, but thankfully I have somebody to rein me in and say, look, this is what we got to do. We need to, okay, well, what happens? Why did you buy that? What was the purpose of that? And that's very much what he is to me.
Wow, Tiffany, thanks for sharing that, because even for the ones that's on today, right? You think about being married and being accountable. That's one of the greatest things about being married. And that's one thing that helped me as well. What Leslie keeps me or kept me accountable early in our marriage. So thanks for sharing that, Tiffany. That's a great thought, great perspective, because a lot of our decisions is based on how we were raised, and that's all we know. So Karen, I see your hand raised, and man, this is great. So go ahead, Karen, and then we'll have Kiva and Maria come up next, and Laurel.
I gotta be honest, and this. Good morning, everyone. First of all, and this is probably real for some people. I think I struggle with basically get rich quick, that type of thing. So what will happen to me in terms of debt? Like I'll try to find a way. Okay, I just inherited a credit card for such and such amount of money. All right, let me see how I could turn this. It's kind of like the use other people money and make money type thing. But you're still where you got to be careful because your debt just actually became wider than it was before. So that's Karen.
Right. And I think, Miss Karen, you hit the nail on the head. You know, if we're going to use it, it could be for good, but then you got to be disciplined. You got to be kind of consistent. So thank you for sharing that. Lakeith, I see your hand that's up. Let's hear from you.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I think for me, I'm a millennial, I will admit, and I'm an instant gratification type person.
Mhm.
And so when I see something, I want it. And that kind of got me in trouble in my 20s. And now that I'm like right at 30, I'm trying to like change that mentality and change that mindset, because I am a single parent. And like, if something were to happen to me today, I don't want to leave that debt to my son. And so I'm trying to just like figure out ways of like, okay, Kiva, do you really need this today? Or is this something that you want? Or, like, how will this affect you in the long run? Like, is it just materialistic? So just trying mindset, because I feel like once I change my mindset, then I'll be able to manage the money.
Wow, that's great, Kiva. And the reason why we're having this today, because just like how you were like in your 20s and you're doing a great job and you're on a great path, but a lot of people just make these decisions, right? Just rational, like you just all of a sudden, hey, I didn't come to the store to buy this, but since it's on sale, I'm gonna buy it anyways. And if I don't have it, I'm gonna swipe it. And so thank you for sharing that, because we all struggle with that. I mean, I don't care where you're at in walks in life. It's just a struggle for the things that what we want it right then and there. And then just having that discipline just to wait, that's hard. And so that's why we're having this discussion today. So it's important for us to kind of collaborate and discuss it all together here. And so, Maria, I see your hand is raised next. We would love to hear from you as well.
Good morning, everyone. So,
Good morning.
I have my stories maybe a little different because I actually was able to pay off about $35,000 worth of debt in 14 months.
Wow.
But the reason that I think that happened for me, I know you say it's not education, but I think a lot of it comes with the information that I've been given at a later date. Again, a lot of the stuff that we learned as kids. I saw my father was a very astute financial person, but I also saw other folks in our family who consistently use credit cards. So, you see both sides of that. And then when you're living your own life and living places that are maybe outside of your means, those things tend to rack up. And so you get to a certain point where it's like, listen, I'm just not gonna put myself in a position anymore to not be as disciplined going forward. So the way that I was able to balance both was to give myself a little bit of money a month to be able to enjoy things for right now. But the majority of what I had was to discipline myself for long term. So that's how I was able to pay off the debt in about 14 months.
Wow. Man, Maria, thanks for sharing that. I mean, so you said how much total debt was it?
About 35K.
35K in 14 months.
Yes, sir.
We need for you to give this webinar today, man, and maybe at another time to show us. Well, let me ask you a question here, right? Let's just kind of dialogue this a little bit. This is pretty good. What did you do? Like, what tools did you put into place?
So a lot of it had to do with me moving out of a very high priced area. So I moved from New York to Ohio, where the cost of living is substantially lower. So when you take that into account and your money stretches a lot further,
Yes.
then you're able to take a lot of things out of the equation.
Mhm.
I don't know if everybody knows, but New York City is very expensive. You're talking tolls, insurance, transportation, everything is just super expensive. So
Right.
moving from a place that was the huge cost of living place from there to here is how I was able to set up the plan and budget myself to be able to do everything I did. Obviously, coming here, housing is way less expensive. There's a whole lot of things I was able to cut out because my family also lives here. So you're just able to budget things in other areas that you may not have been able to do. Because again, I'm a single parent. So at the time I was doing everything on my own. So now I'm able to leverage things in different areas. So that's how I was able to do what I did.
You know, Maria, I think the greatest thing about your particular story too is the fact that you were a single parent mother. It's one thing if you have like two incomes coming in, and maybe
Yeah.
that could be probably, I don't want to say easier, but probably a little bit more comfortable because instead of one income, you got two incomes. But you did
Yes.
this as a single parent mother. And in
Yes.
your particular case, you had a teenager. And when you have
Yes.
a teenager, man, that
They're
costs
expensive.
very
Yes.
expensive. I'm not there yet, but I hear my twin brother talking about his teenagers and how they want to go to the mall and
Absolutely. She's
phones and all.
19 now and still in my pocket, but it's it's a lot more manageable now because I don't have that debt hanging over my head. Some of that was medical things, so of course those things need to be addressed and taken care of.
Right.
But it's again, that's why I'm saying it can be done. If you're a single parent, it's definitely a situation that you can get yourself out of. That's the reason why I think it's a good situation to express because I've been there. I can understand being in that situation. So
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, man. Thanks for sharing that story, man. That's awesome. That's why we dialoguing because you may only feel like you in this fight by yourself, but man, it's probably 7 out of 10 people in America that's actually in debt. And so for us, it's a good feeling to know that we're not in this alone. And that's why we're dialoguing and we're going to go through this system today and say, hey, look, here's a great management plan to get out of debt. All right. So Laurel, man, good morning. I see your hand raised. Let's hear from you, good brother.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Wow, those some amazing, testimonies from everyone. I just wanted to, I guess, share my story as well. It's similar to Tiffany's, in a sense. So, we come from Live Oak, Sherwin, where our parents, teach us, originally, like if you don't have the money, not to buy things, type of deal. So I didn't go into going into college or anything. Like I didn't have a credit card. I was always taught, have the cash on hand to buy things and to actually but we were poor as far as education and far as learning about like you have to have a credit history to, a credit card to even, purchase big purchase items.
Yeah.
So like I didn't have a credit history at all, but my wife had the credit history going into our marriage, but the debt management aspect was up there where we had a lot of debt. So one of the things we did was as far as like managing our debt was getting the action plan and discipline. And it's very tough at first, because instant gratification, like one of my peers touched on. So I mean, coming from a background where you got to have the cash on hand at first and things of that nature, but like learn about the debt, the credit card and the interest rates and all that stuff was quite challenging. But like I'll just tell you guys, like discipline would definitely take you a long way, and then having an action plan, because we were able to pay off our debt, within a matter of months, just sticking to an action plan.
Now, Laurel, let me ask this question here, man, because you got a great story as far as paying off your debt. What systems or what tools did you put into place for you and your wife to pay off your debt? Like, who was like kind of in control of it? Were you? Was it your
Yeah.
wife? And then let's say, for instance, as a married couple like you, right? There's probably some challenges through this because I don't know if you're the spender, if the wife is the spender, and then what challenges did you guys? How you were able to overcome that?
Yeah, so my wife is needs to say my wife is definitely the spender here. One of the action
Laurel,
plans
can
we
I share
took is
this?
like what?
Can I share this really quick? I'm sorry to
Uh-huh.
interrupt. And I know this might not be a favorable thing, but in most cases, in most marriages, and ladies don't kill me, most of the time the ladies are the spenders, and we have to kind of be the steward over them. So don't feel bad, brother. I'm the opposite though. I'm the spender unless it's slavery. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but my wife was she she's been here and there, but like we sat down, we looked at all the credit cards we had on hand, and the thing is like we drew it out. So the one that accrued the most interest, we literally tackled that first. Like and it goes back to one of the webinars that you touched on with the system name, but it's where you can log it. It's like a snowball effect. So you tackle one credit card with the highest interest rate, you tackle that down first, get that paid off, and then you go from there as far as like an action plan. We literally drew it out to as far as like the month that we wanted in the action plan as well, that we wanted to pay it off and how much we can accrue. I mean, how much we can pay toward it. Now that we've paid off our debt, we can now put those funds toward investments. But now with the debt management part, we I think one of the colleagues earlier touched on this as well. Like now, just trying to take advantage of anything that we can. So right now, like with the credit card, like I have a vacation fund with one of the credit cards that's established. So anything that I pay and I get rapid rewards from, like cash rewards from that, I just transferred the rewards from that account to my vacation fund and then pay off the credit card immediately.
Yeah. Man, that's a great story, man. Congratulations to you and your wife for paying off that debt because you're still a young man. And I think Lakiva kind of hit the nail on the head because she said that when she was in her 20s, right? That's when she was really accruing a lot of the debt. And it's one thing, man, when you build up a big load of credit card debt and that it feel like a mountain. I mean, if you're in $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in debt, in the credit card debt, it almost feel like, man, I ain't gonna never get out of debt, and you just get discouraged. That's why I wanted to share that video earlier because you're valuable. You were created for a purpose, and so we're gonna look at a system here in SolarRail. It's like I say for the season, Let's Win Financial members. We're gonna go and look at undebt, but I challenge you if you haven't gone and you've seen this system before, if you have not gone into this particular system to update your information. I literally do it quite a bit, a few times, a month, all right? Even though we pretty much pay all our debt off at the end of the month, but I do this and I share this with different clients, right? That wants to get out of debt because I think it's important. Because here's the thing: many times, like for instance, like Maria shared her debt management story, success story. Oftentimes, we could get out of debt, but then we could get right back into it because now we realize there's nothing on the card. Then something may come up on a hard time, but now you got all this credit that's still available to you. And oftentimes I speak to people, and Maria, I'm not saying that's what you would do because I know, you come from a good background. You kind of probably learned your lesson to say, man, all this money I'm paying per month, I could be using this towards something else. But oftentimes I speak to many of people and they say, well, Sherwin, man, I just got this debt paid off, but I can't pay this bill right about now and I want to charge it. And I just see that this leading to just a slippery road because it's like a rat wheel, like a rat race. You just get right back on that debt management wheel. And that's something that we want to avoid. So that's why we want to be ahead of it and not let it be in control of us. So before we get into our system, do we have anybody else that would like to add their thoughts, their perspectives, or even if you're in debt now and some of the things that you're just struggling with, any thoughts and any perspectives that you want to add to that before we get into the system? Oh, go ahead, Augustus. Or I'm sorry, Dr. Francis, go ahead, sir.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I hear you, sir. Uh-huh.
I want to say to the audience this morning that I am debt-free, and I've been debt-free for a long time because of what really caused that is after I retired from the military, I was working for a credit card processing center, and I realized how people was paying all this extra money, like late fees, like overpayment and this and that. And once I come to understand what was going on, I decided to go ahead and do something about my own self. Like somebody already said that maybe 4 or 5 times, you got to be disciplined. Right now, when I buy things on credit card, but before I buy anything, I want to make sure I have the money to pay for it. So by the time to pay the interest, I already paid out, so I don't have to pay no interest, so I save money on that. So everything to me is discipline. You might see something you like, but if you don't have the money or you don't know where the money is coming from, don't do it. Like the good book said, we got to count the cost. Don't go and buy it and then try to figure out how you can pay for it, but you have to figure out how you can pay for it before you purchase it. So that's what I do, and that's why I stayed disciplined. And like I said, I've been debt-free. I paid my house out in 2013. I went ahead and paid my house out like I heard that young lady talk about earlier on. And I'm debt-free, and I plan to stay like that until God called me home.
Dr. Francis, that's a very great thought, a good perspective. And you are a success story. And so I don't want to spill too much about you, but I just want to say one thing here about Dr. Francis. He mentioned that he was retired military, and now Dr. Francis is getting ready to retire from another job as well. So just notice, guys, Dr. Francis is probably a little bit more seasoned than us, but he's not too far as far as he's not in his 80s and he's not in his 70s. He's in no debt. And the one thing that he mentioned, he got his house paid off. And our house is, and what Maria said, right? She went from a high income area to Ohio. Our house, or whatever we're paying for rent, right? That's our biggest monthly expense. But Dr. Francis is a great example of having multiple retirements and then having everything paid off, including the house. And that's the idea where we want to be when it comes to later in life. Because Dr. Francis, if he want to decide when he retire, if he want to go to Africa, if he want to go to Antarctica, and he want to be there for 3 months, he ain't got to worry about paying the credit card company. He ain't got to worry about paying the mortgage. He living debt free. So Dr. Francis, man, salute to you. Appreciate your service. Appreciate your brotherhood. Dr. Francis has a good brotherhood with him, some brothers that just joined the Let's Win Financial community. So we're just excited because they're looking to grow their money in itself. But thank you, Dr. Francis, for that. All right. Anybody else before we get into our platform to show you how you can get in control of your debt? Any more? Let me see if I see any more hands raised here. No. Okay. All right. So we're gonna get into it here, so we won't belabor this anymore here.
Hey, Sheriff.
Yeah, go ahead, brother Harris.
Hey, real quick, I just want to throw out to the group that this is the first time that I have my wife listening to me, which is I'm almost sure gonna catapult this whole conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Hey, you say catapult?
It's gonna push it forward, because a lot of times what I think about finances, she may be thinking something different. And so it's great to hear the conversation. We can both sit here and talk about it while we're on mute and listen to what you're saying.
So brother Harris, let me add this thought to it, right? Me as a young man is 39, right? And we've been talking about this, right? Based on how we was raised. Now I got my parents on this call as well. They normally be on every one of these calls, so they love and support. Well, I'm just give a small little perspective, right? And hopefully my mom won't mind this, and I don't think she will, because she love her baby. But as my growing up, my mom was the actual spender, and my dad was the actually saver, and he was responsible for paying all the bills in our house. And it trickled down because my mom, she saw her dad and her mom spending frivolously. So that's all she knew. And so that's kind of sort of like her lifestyle is today. It has gotten better. But when it comes to in a household and being in control, somebody has to be in control. And thankfully, it was my dad to do that. And my mom was able to still provide for us and love on us. But if it wasn't for my dad, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking about finances, because I saw some of the things that he was able to do. And that's the same way for the married couples that's on this particular call today. Man, you're fighting. Marriage is already hard, but when you're fighting to pay off debt, and then you got one person that's not necessarily on the same timeline or on the same vision, right? You might be on the same vision, but you don't have the same discipline and the same consistency. Man, that makes marriage rough. So it's important for us to be having these conversations, because when you're out of debt, man, and you don't have to owe nobody, and you can go to the store like Dr. Francis, and you can spend $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month, not out your checking account, or you can put it on that credit card, but you can slide that money that's over in that savings account and put it and pay off that credit card at the end of the month. Man, there's no greater feeling than that. Man, Leslie and I, we just went over to Disney World and we put a bunch of stuff on our credit card, man. And that credit card bill got up to like $5,000, man. But guys, let me tell you, it was nothing sweeter than being able to go to Bank of America, go to that savings account from to that particular credit card, and being able to pay that credit card off. That's just a great feeling in itself. And so now I'm glad I'm sharing this story, because my mom just messaged me and said that she want to say something. So hopefully I ain't in trouble, guys, but now she got some good thoughts. Go ahead, Mom. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you don't mind.
Thank you so much for sharing this morning. And you are so right. I am the spender. I was a spender. I'm still is a spender. But somewhere you have to surrender. Mm-hmm. You have to surrender to the person who can manage the money in your household for your greater gain, for your greater good, for your future. And so I surrendered, and I respect that. And for our husband being the leader and the financial person, he's put us in a good position where we can retire right now. We're pastoring full time, but we're doing that because God have ordained us to do that. But we could retire, and to see and hear, and for our son to direct our finances, we're blessed. But somebody in a marriage situation have to surrender to the person who can handle the money. Thank you so much.
Amen. Amen. Mom, thank you for joining in, guys. I'm not sure if you ever met my mom, but here she is, man. And I would like to say this here. Mom, my parents been married now for 49 years. And my mom is a great example of a virtuous woman. Mom, I hate to say this and put you out. I'm gonna put you on the stop you off on the video here. But my mom, ladies, when it comes to an ideal wife, ideal mom, ideal mother, and I'm gonna put this out, but my mom has only been with one man, and that's been my dad. And till the day that I die, I will always love and I will always respect my mom for being the godly woman that she is. And we all got our own faults, and we all go left, right? We all got some skeletons. But man, if I respect more than anything about my mom by being a godly woman and about just living the virtuous woman that she is in life, man. So I am who I am today because of my mom in herself, because at the end of the day, my dad was the saver, but my mom was the strong rock, the foundation that kept our family together. So they've been married 49 years, getting ready to celebrate their 50th anniversary next year on July the 21st. And we're going to celebrate with them. And so we're excited. So thank you, Mom, for adding your input into that. It's rough as a marriage, but we're definitely, if you're together and you're on the same boat, you can get to that destination where you want to go. So, all right, guys. So I'm gonna go here, and man, this has been good. So I want to go here, and I want to share our particular scenario here. Now, let me go ahead and share my screen. And so we're going to talk about a scenario basically where it's an everyday life situation. And Johnny is going to be our debt scenario today. And so we think about it here as we've been talking about our debt. Let's think about this here, right? Johnny has a Macy's credit card. His balance is $3,000. His credit limit is now $5,000. interest rate on this is 29%. Johnny also has a Home Depot card. Johnny has a credit union card. Johnny has a Honda Accord. And then Johnny also have student loans. And so we're going to look at this example here, and we're going to look at this total debt scenario. And we're going to look at this and we're going to say, okay, look, how can we actually get out of debt in this particular scenario? Because guys, as I mentioned, man, this is a everyday scenario, what we currently live in. So let me just share here with you this particular program. Now, if you have not seen this before, and if you have credit card debt, or if you're in this situation with those type of accounts, what I have just listed with Johnny, I want you to get a pen, I want you to get a paper, and I want you to write this website down, undebt.it. Go get a pen, go get a paper, undebt.it, because this is what we're going to exclusively work with over the next few minutes here. The good thing about this site, guys, is if you look over here to the top right, it says it's free. That's probably the most important thing about this particular site. And let me also give you a disclaimer about the site. Once you put your information in here, it is not linked to any of your accounts that you put into it. This is like a manual basis. So oftentimes you might be putting stuff on like a Excel spreadsheet and trying to figure out the numbers. But as we go through this here, you're going to see that this website, this resource here is going to run the numbers for you and getting yourself paid and getting yourself out of debt. So undebt.it. Now, what I've done is as we continue to be on debt management plans, I create dummies accounts. So what I've done is let me log in. I've added Johnny's scenario. So once you go and create a free account, username and log on, this is kind of sort of like what it's going to look like. You're going to log in here. All right. Now, you're going to see at the top where right now Johnny's debt is a total balance of $14,050. Now, you will see here some of the things that we've done already. So I've already added 3 out of the few accounts that Johnny has for his debt management, just for the sake of the time purposes here, right? So what I've done is I've added Macy's credit card, the Home Depot, and the Miami Credit Union, right? But I want to show you guys how you can go and add the different information that's into this particular site and how it's going to be. So let's focus on this here. We're going to add into this particular system here, the Honda Accord. So I'm gonna go back over here and let me just go here and we're gonna go back into the system here. So, all right, so you got 3 different things that goes on this particular site. You're gonna set your budget, and right about now, this budget is $825 a month. We're gonna come back here. The second step is you're gonna add your account, and the third thing is you're gonna choose your plan. So let's focus on the second step here. We're gonna add account, and as I mentioned, we're gonna go here and we're gonna add the Honda Accord. Now, when we go back here, let's look at this. Our Honda Accord, the balance on it is $19,500. So I'm sorry, $19,000, and our purchase price is $26,000. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna type in Honda Accord. All right, so we got Honda Accord car. All right, and then we're gonna say what type of debt is this? And then the type of debt, we're gonna say that, let's find the car. Okay, auto trailer vehicle loan. So we're gonna add that there. And then we're going to go right now, and we know that our current balance on this Honda Accord is $19,000. So we're going to go right here. We're going to put 19,000. All right. And then we're going to go over here. Our highest balance is normally what we bought the car for, which is 26,000. So we go ahead and put in 26,000 here. All right. Now, let's say, for instance, out of this Honda Accord, the minimum payments is $325. All right. The credit limit is generally the same as what you bought it for. And then we said that the interest rate on this here was 3%. So we're going to go here and we're going to add our 3%. All right. And then we're going to go here and let's say, for instance, our next payment on this next due date will be September the 15th. So that'll be next month. So we're going to save this here. Once I save this here, now you're going to see the Honda Accord has been applied along with the other debts in itself. So we have the Home Depot line of credit, the Macy's credit card, and the Miami Credit Union. So you will see all of these accounts here listed. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. We're not going to get into the student loans just yet. I just want to run something here and show you. So once I added this Honda Accord, when we go back up here and look at this total debt, you will see now that this total debt is $33,000 here once we added the Honda Accord. Now, if you look here, our next step in this particular plan here is to choose your particular plan. So we have our total debt budget set. We have our account set, and now we're looking at our debt payoff plan. And so what Laurel was talking about, you got several different plans here, right? How you can actually pay off your debt. Now, the debt snowball, which is where you pay your lowest balance first, that's the most popular plan, because if you pay a low balance off, you get momentum. And once you pay that low balance off, then you use that money that you paid that card off to, or whatever that account is, you use that money and now go pay the second lowest debt off, and then the next lowest debt off, and then the next lowest debt off. Because once you get a small win, that's mental, that's emotional. Now, you got another one that's pretty popular as well, is where you're paying your highest interest rate off first. So you may get to a spot where you might have a line of credit that's being 35%, or say, for instance, 29%, and that's costing you a lot. And so one other thing what this does, and we're going to go down here and it's going to show us our debt payoff plan. But one other thing what this does is, once we added these accounts here, you see all 4 of these accounts. Now it's telling you your balance for each one. It's telling you the interest rate that we added. It's telling us the minimum payments. But guys, here's the most important thing is looking at this information. It's telling us the currently monthly interest that we're paying on it. And I promise you guys, if you go and look at your statements when you're running this, or even when you think about getting into debt, or if you think about this weekend, if you got to buy something, you put it on debt, man, go and look at your credit card statements that's coming in, and look at the monthly interest that you're paying. And think about this, the ones that got kids, think about this $23.75. This can be going to your kids' savings account, or this $55, man, this could be going towards your savings account. Or this $125, this be going towards your retirement account. This $47.50 be going to your Roth IRA account. Man, this is the slave to the lender. This one particular line here, man, is what kills America today. And this is why the government continues to run, because now they know they got us locked in on these interest rates, and that's what keeps America going. All right. So let's go back over here, and we're going to talk about this here for a second here. Now, in this particular plan, if you add all of these up, right, our minimal payments, you got $50, $75, $100, $150, and $325. If we have this total debt budget of $825 or what we're setting to pay this, and these minimal payments is coming up to this $825, we're going to go down here and it's going to show us if our budget, if our monthly budget is $825 a month. Now, this is going to tell us how each one of these cards, these accounts, could be paid off using what we chose in this example here is the debt snowball plan. All right. So our Home Depot card, if you look at it here, it's the lowest balance. You see the lowest balance here. So it goes from the lowest all the way to the highest. So we add our lowest balance here, which is our Home Depot. Our Home Depot card, it could literally be paid off in December here, right? Based off this particular plan, $825. So you focus on paying this off first couple months here, $275. Now, you will also see here these additional payments, right? I'm going to get into this here really quick. Let me just share this here with you. Let's just say, for instance, right, you get an annual bonus, an end of year bonus, or let's say, for instance, you get your tax refund. You can use your tax refund and also apply this towards this scenario. So what I've done is, if you take this $1,000 here, say this is your end of year bonus, you could use that in your tax refund. One thing what this website does is, and how you're able to add those additional payments, you go over here to the left and you can tap onto these additional payments. Now, I've already done this, but if you look at it, let me just go here. I want to delete this really quick, and then I'm gonna add these back so you guys can see how I've done this here. Once I take these out, I want to show you that Home Depot card is not paid off in December. So let's go back here. We're going to go back to the easy mode. I took out the additional payments. All right. If you notice here, I took out the additional payments, and you notice that Home Depot card, it's not being paid off in December now. It's being paid off in March of 2022. But I want to show you, if we go back up here, you can use this system here for this. You look at your additional payments. You go right here and click it. And basically what you're doing is you want to go right here and add a new snowflake. So we go right here and we're going to put December 2021. And we're going to put that $1,000 end of year bonus towards this here. And this is going to show us here, right? And I'm going to put here, end of year bonus. All right, we go here, we save this snowflake. And now this is being added for December. So when I go back up here and I look at my easy mode, it's now going to reflect this $1,000, this end of year bonus, into this additional payment now to this Home Depot. So instead of this Home Depot being paid off in March 2022, it's now being paid off in December. Now let's talk about this also. If you look at this, if you scroll all the way down, it's showing you based off your total debt that you have. It's also showing you your total interest that you're paying towards your debt management. In this particular case, it's $4,758 here, which is quite a bit of interest that you're paying on top of your balance. So our goal is to make sure that we pay as less interest as possible, because this $4,758, man, could be going towards vacations or anything, right? So if I go back here, let's say, for instance, I want to just do this here real quick as well. Let's go ahead and add another additional payment. And the biggest thing, what we know, right, is round about March timeframe, April timeframe. I'm gonna put March. We know that 2022 is normally when people get their tax refunds, right? So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna put in $1,300 here. Put in $1,300, and I'm going to put income tax check. I'm gonna save this snowflake here, and now we have two snowflakes. We have our income tax check and our end of year bonus. I go back over here to my easy mode, and now we're going to see the reflection of the tax refund in here. So now, guys, our Home Depot card is paid off in December. Our Macy's credit card is now paid off in March 2022. All right, so if you notice on this Home Depot, once this is paid off, you add the payments of this $275 that you was making on top of the $75, and now it's been applied here to the next lowest. Once this Macy's credit card is paid off, you're adding now this $350, and you're adding on top of this next credit card here, right? Your Miami Credit Union card. Now you see these payments reflected as $470. Now you get into your last debt, right? Which is the Honda Accord. And now you think, okay, look, this will be paid off in March of 2025. But let's talk about this. Let's say, for instance, you get a raise on your job. And let's say, for instance, you have additional $200 a month. So instead of paying $825 per month in the budget, let's say, for instance, we add additional $200 per month towards this debt. So we're going to look at how this $200 is now reflected. We add this $200, right? We saw that the Honda Accord would have been like March of 2025. Look at it now. It's being paid off literally almost a year less than if with the $200. You're going to also see that $200, these other accounts that we have here, they're going to be paid off even earlier as well. And then you're also going to see down here for your total interest. Look at this here. This is not $4,700 any longer. This now is $3,100. So this is great to use, guys. Let me share one other thing that's pretty great about this particular system here. It also, if you're looking to increase your credit score, this also it looks at your overall credit utilization as well. Let me find that over here. Where are we? Credit utilization. Here we go. So in this particular example, all right, if you look at your debt of just $33,000 here, it's breaking down your debt in itself and your overall credit utilization. In this example here, you're looking at your overall credit utilization. Your credit utilization is basically the credit that's available to you and the credit that you're actually using. So in Johnny's scenario here, he's using 57% of his credit that's available to him. Ideally, you want to be right here in the green. So if you're over the green, man, if you're looking to increase your credit score, the more that you're over here in the green, the higher you're going to see your credit score go up. The further you're right here in the red, the lower you're going to see your credit score go. So that's why I tell people, man, you want to pay off or you want to see your credit score increase, you got to start paying off some of your debt. Because if you look at these highest balances here, right? Let's look at this here. If you think about, say, for instance, this Home Depot line of credit, you will see here with this bar here, it's 72.5% of the credit that's available. That's pretty high. This needs to be paid off or no more than 30%. You look at this Honda Accord, this is 73%. The highest balance is 26,000, but you're using 73% of it. So these two accounts here is taking up majority of the overall credit utilization. The one that's the least is 40%. But ideally, guys, as I mentioned, you want to be in 30%, because if he can knock down this debt and he pay this off, his credit score will even be higher. All right. So this is important. This thing does a couple things. It's looking at paying your debt off, and it's also helping you increase your credit score as well. Now, I don't want to belabor this any longer because we could do this on the one-on-one calls, but I will also say, guys, there's like a YouTube link on exclusively how to use everything in here into Undead IT, but I want to show you just some of the basic principles of how to pay off your debt and get in control of it. It's just literally, guys, this is easy. This is easy. You're doing three different things. You're setting a budget, you're adding your accounts, and you're choosing your plan in itself. And you can go here and just kind of play with it. If I go here and hit the debt avalanche, it automatically updates the numbers. And now it kind of shows you, instead of the lowest balance paid off first, this one here, your Macy's credit card had the highest interest rate. So if I click on it, I know when I see the highest interest rate was 22% here, right? So that's why that's showing first. So you can go here, man, you can make it customized, but want to share here with you because we want to make sure that we get in control of this debt. All right. Now I want to pause here and showed you guys a lot of information, but I want to pause here. And if anyone have any questions on this Undead system, let's talk about it. All right. Any questions? If you have any questions, you can remove your mics. Okay. So I would just say, hey, look, man, if you have family, even if you're in debt, you have family, you have friends, Undead IT is one of the greatest ways to pay off your debt and be in control of it in every single month. Let me share this also. I forgot to share this with you guys. Let me go back over here. So when you're doing this on a monthly basis, right? And this is one thing I was speaking with a client the other day, right? It's one thing to put your information in, but you also too want to, every time you make a payment. So let's say, for instance, on this Home Depot line of credit here, right? What you want to do is every time you make a payment on this particular card, you want to go in here and you want to add this transaction. And your transaction type, when you make a payment, is either, hey guys, you're going to have these cards, and oftentimes you may make additional swiping charges on it. So you got two options here. Let's say, for instance, you make a payment. You make this payment. You want to put in whatever date that you made the payment. Let's say, for instance, your payment, you're going to make it on September the 16th. And then you're going to go here. You're going to select September. You're going to say 2021. And let's say, for instance, you went right here and you made a $125 payment here, right? You want to save this transaction. And check this out, guys. Once you save this transaction, guess what? You're going to go back right over here to this easy mode, and that $125 now will be reflected right into this here. So you're still going to have it paid off in December 2021. But every time you make a payment, you want to go here and you want to be able to track your system in itself. All right. So that's going to be able to help you move that needle a lot more when you go and make your payments, right? So and it's going to keep a record as well of your payments. All right. So any final questions here before we close out here on the Undead IT? Okay. All right. Good stuff here. So let me stop sharing this here. So just make a note here. Undead IT is very secure. It's not tied to any of your accounts. And I can help you guys on our one-on-one calls. It's also on YouTube to help you navigate and paying off your debt. So guys, as a closing, before we close out, man, I appreciate you guys dialoguing in. Before we close out, does anybody have any final thoughts before we close out on the Undead or being in debt management thoughts, perspectives before we close out? Okay. Hey, I hate to put this person here on the spot, but I enjoy talking to him on a weekly basis. And he's a young man that's killing it. I'm excited for his future. EJ, man, I just want you, man, if you don't mind, right? You've been a little bit, you didn't add your thoughts and perspective on this here, right? But I enjoy our conversations on a weekly basis. And can you provide your thoughts, your perspective on debt and not putting yourself into debt? Because your perspective and your thought, I really enjoy your perspective. If you don't mind, just share with us if you don't mind.
Hey, Sherwin. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
In terms of debt, so it's funny you should ask. So when I just came to the US, not too long ago, I was getting paid somewhere around like 25,000 a year, and I had gotten married, and I went into some serious debt. It goes back to who you choose, and things of that nature, without going deep into that. And so needless to say, we were somewhere around like 30 or 40,000 in debt, and we had just got a new car. Sure, when you remember that car.
Oh yeah.
And it was some rough times. But the thing is, I used the method you just showed, the debt snowball. And I remember running into Dave Ramsey and just working through it. It took a number of years. It took probably about 4 or 5 years for me to get out. And on top of that, what I can say is that during that time, I kind of developed some strategies in my own mind, some habits that kind of helped me. So I work with a 24-hour rule, right? If I go to purchase something, my mind is telling me, yo, get it right now. I kind of just say, all right, wait, hold up. Let me give myself 24 hours. If I still feel like it's essential after those 24 hours, then yes. If not, then no. And I'm gonna tell you, like 90 to 95% of the time, after those 24 hours are up, it's like, nah, you know what? It's not even worth it. I don't need it. And it's that cooling off period really works. So if I'd tell you, try it, definitely. But yeah, I love the Let's Win community. Thank you guys for listening. Sherwin, it's awesome that you're doing this for us, man. You're making a real difference in not just our lives, but it's one thing I saw you post something on Instagram the other day, man. And it's true. Blacks and Hispanics, man, we don't do too well with finance, So, the change is for generations to come.
And EJ, man, I appreciate you for sharing your story, man, because you faced challenges, but you overcame, man, and you're a success story today. And the reason why I think it's important for us to be here today, man, is because we're all adults. In one shape or form, we got kids behind us. And everything that what we're doing is our kids is watching us, especially the young kids. So our goal today is to be in control of our debt. Because when we go to the store, if we want to go to Disney World, right, our kids can say, hey, look, we can say yes to our kids if it's reasonable. And we don't necessarily have to say no because we're in debt and we can't do some of the things that we want to do because we're being a slave to the lender. And so for us, man, it's all about generational because we want to make sure that whatever we do, we have to make sure that we're legacy builders, man. This is not just for us, but it's about our future generation. I know for me, it's important because I have 3 young boys that's watching every single thing that I do. And so I think that's important that we get in control of this concept in itself. All right. So guys, anybody else before we close? Man, this has been an awesome session. Look, September's getting ready to start, guys. We got 4 more months to go until the end of the year. You got to ask yourself, you going to sink or you going to swim, or we going to finish strong? And the answer to that is we're going to finish strong. And so let me just tell you one other thing too, right? I posted this in the Facebook group, but some of you guys that's on this call now, it's not on the Facebook group, but guys, on September the 1st, you guys seeing on these social media, right, with these crates and they stacking these crates. I'm excited to announce this, and I haven't gone full blown. But guys, we're going to have if you're stacking those crates, you're doing it all wrong. We need to be stacking our money, right? So we can be paying down debt, putting in our savings account, our investments. But we're having a stacking crate challenge. where you're going to be able to go on to Let's Win Financial website, just how we did early in the year with our savings challenge. And our savings challenge is actually still going on as well on our website. But we're currently working now on the website where you're going to be able to go on to the website. Let's Win Financial is going to pull up here, and you're going to register and be able to go. Let me see here. My web developer may be working on my website here because it's down at the moment. I already gave me the information. But you guys have been to my website early in January where you were able to go on there, register for the savings challenge. You're going to be able to do the same thing for this crate challenge. You're going to be going there. It's going to be $5 per entry. And we're going to be doing a $250 Amazon gift card because it's going to be awareness that I want to raise about these crates that's going viral. And it's calling like the Hood Olympic Challenge. That's the hashtag on it. But I want to put an emphasis out there to say, man, we need to be saving. We need to be stacking, not crates, but our money. But I want to also be able to give back. And so anybody, you can do it multiple times. It's going to be an entry of $5. You're going to put your name in the hat. And that's going to be starting September 1st. It's going to run through a week through September the 8th. And then we're going to have a live drawing here on Zoom. It's going to be on Facebook. We're going to have it on Instagram. And then we're going to have one Amazon gift card winner. But my goal is in this is to give back, but also to spread awareness while the crates, stacking the crates is going viral, to just really put an emphasis on stacking our money. So look out for that. There'll be more information. I'll be emailing it, texting it out, and our website will be updated to where you can go right on there and to be able to do that. All right. So with that, guys, this will end our debt management class for today. Take advantage of the Undead IT. Matter of fact, I already had one guy. He's in California. He just joined the Let's Win Financial community. In his early 20s, he just shot me a screenshot of him putting this information into Undead IT. That's the goal and the purpose of what we want to do. And so for the guy that's on here, I'm not going to call you out, but hey, man, just get on this train, brother, because it's rolling and we're focused on creating financial legacies for generations to come. All right, guys, you have a good Saturday. And if you get into a spot where you feel like you may use that credit card, revert back to today's class, come back to this video. It will be posted also as a replay on our website by tomorrow evening. So you guys come back here and watch this well on the website. But with that, guys, be well, be blessed. And as always, let's continue to win. All right, guys, have a great one.